Andrew in Florida, he, him, and he says true humanists would embrace religion because religion itself is inherently progressive by definition. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, gentlemen.
Well, that's debatable, but at least on my part. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, if you just study the history of religion, like the more modern we get, the better they become. So, if by definition, it is progressive. It progresses with culture, with history. The better we become as humans, the better our religion becomes. So it's a
But
progressive.
but also as our culture has advanced, people have become less and less religious.
Yeah.
So maybe so I'm not sure what the driving factor that you're claiming is happening is actually happening.
I think you might
It's
have your
almost
causality reversed.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what statistics you have to prove that.
The Pew Research Center, you can go look it up. It's it's a very much cited poll. They've been doing the poll since the 1980s, and in the 1980s, 6% of Americans had no affiliation with a church. Today, 26% do. Most of Europe has majority secular now. There's a large secular movement actually going on in Iran right now. So yeah, as we become more advanced, we're becoming less and less and less religious. We actually have data for that.
Okay. Yeah, Jim Barrows of the Atheist Experience, he says correlation doesn't equal causation. Every time there's a study.
I get that. I kind of brought up my point to show that your point was just as moot.
Well, correlation doesn't equal causation, but if it's causative, it's going to be correlated, right? And so, like, I think the point you made originally was that as society has progressed, religion has progressed kind of along with it, and religion has become more progressive, right? But the thesis statement of your call was that we should embrace religion, when it sounds like what you actually are saying is we should embrace societal change, which I'm all about. Let's embrace societal change. Why do I need the religion to do that? I seem to be getting progressive just fine without it, right?
Yeah, religion is part of our change, our self-transcendence. It's part of the progression of society and our evolution as a species. Looking at history, we progress because of religion. Religion's one of the things that help us progress. So that's why I said it's inherently progressive. So by just comparing them.
So our parents, but eventually we move out and we go on our own. We don't need them anymore. Maybe religion is like that too. In the early parts of our civilization, we needed it to get along, but as we've grown up, we don't need it anymore.
Well, yeah, with parents, yeah, but not human relationships, right? We change human relationships, so we just change religions and we get better and better with better. So we choose better religions, and we choose better beliefs with those religions.
The way it seems to me, if you look at like a person who is a staunch, like, fundamentalist today would have been a bleeding heart liberal 200 years ago, right? But religion, or at least in America, religion always seems to like lag a few decades behind the broader culture, and so it seems to me that culture is dragging religion kicking and screaming along with it in terms of societal progression. So I just don't see why we should accept your hypothesis that religion is necessary for societal progress.
Yeah. What you're saying, I agree with it. That happens many times where aspects of religion are more behind than the culture itself. But I would also say many times the opposite is true, that religion points at something that the culture desperately needs. Like, for example, Western civilization, they became more virtuous because of Christianity. And
why?
Islam.
Why?
I don't believe that.
Why?
I need you to give me something there. I don't see why Christianity is inherently more virtuous than the culture that it destroyed.
Yeah. Bart Ehrman, in his book, The Triumph of Christianity, he shows how Christianity, because of Christianity, that empire, that civilization, that culture became much more virtuous, much more less self-centered and more human-centered, more humanist because of Christianity.
So what you're
because of
saying
the
is,
ethical teachings of Jesus.
so what you're saying is this ancient group of goat herders who had no morals wrote a book, and they set down a code of laws to make their civilization better. And that is still affecting us today and making our civilization better. Is that what I'm gathering that you're saying?
No, I'll give you one example. That codified code of law. Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, that's one way to do religion. No, it's okay. That's one way to do religion. But even within that religion itself, the virtues change. They do become more progressive. You read it in the Old Testament to the New Testament.
Yes, but society itself becomes more progressive.
Better and better.
You're saying that the progressive society is being caused by religion, and religion's getting more progressive. So is religion making society progressive, or is a progressive society influencing the religion? Because that's what I think is happening. I think our society is becoming more progressive, and it's influencing the religion to become more progressive.
I'm also just throwing this out there. I'm not a fan of the framing of Old Testament bad, New Testament better, because like that seems a little bit anti-Semitic. It's not the case that like it was a straight line Old Testament bad, New Testament good. Like it's not like that. It's just not like that, and I just want to get it out there. I don't endorse that view because Jewish people are just as progressive as Christians are.
Yeah. I understand
they
that.
definitely are in their voter base in the United States.
Yeah. No, and like it says to stone your children back then, but nobody believes that. Nobody believed that by the time you had the New Testament, to stone your children. So
yeah, because people don't want to stone their children. It has nothing to do with that's why. Because people don't want to stone their children, so they change what they believe.
So ultimately, regardless of whatever role, if you want to believe that Christianity was responsible for making the Roman Empire more moral, okay, fine, whatever. Let's talk about today, though. Like today, like right now. I disagree that we as a society, if we all embraced Christianity in America, like if atheists all of a sudden flocked to the churches and converted, that tomorrow America would be any more progressive than it is now. I'm guessing it would probably be a little bit less progressive given the mean political beliefs of your average Christian in America, right? And so like, I don't know, it seems like your assertion is just flying in the face of reality. And kind of fundamentally, why religion if want progress?
May I get three examples of ways that evangelical right-wing Trumpers would be more progressive if they became Catholic? May I give 3 quick examples?
They'd be more progressive if they did just about anything. So,
sure,
I mean, what you're saying is like
environmentalism.
Yeah, but they'd also be more progressive if they became. They'd also be more progressive if they became secular humanists. Like, yes, there are more progressive versions of Christianity, just like there are less progressive and more progressive versions of Islam and Buddhism, and pick a tradition. There's going to be differences. All you've told me is if someone becomes more progressive, they'll become more progressive. Okay, but like they didn't have to. It's not like the only path to this. No, not because of religion. Because they chose a different path. It's not like the only path to progressiveness would be for them to go from the evangelical church they're in to Catholicism. They would be just as well served by going from the evangelical church they're in to atheist secular humanism. They'd be just as progressive. And so clearly it can't be the religion that's causing it.
We just give us examples of when people use religion to become less progressive. And there are toxic elements to religion, of course. But we're kind of overlooking all the positive examples when religion makes us better people, and it does make us more progressive because of the religion itself. I mean, would you deny that there are any examples that religion does make us advance or make us better humans overall.
If a person is going to be more progressive going from an evangelical church to being Catholic, I don't know that I'd agree with that necessarily, but let's say it's true. Let's say going from denomination A to denomination B, they'd be more progressive. Great. They should all do it. I would love it if they did, because I would love it if they'd be more progressive. But that doesn't mean like, and so if you mean like there is a path within their religion to become more progressive, that's true. That's trivially true. But that doesn't mean that it's the religion that's doing it. It just means that there is an option within the religion that is more progressive than their current position.
Correct. I want to be a more progressive person, so I'm no longer going to accept this conservative religion that I'm in, and I'm going to move to a more progressive sect of this religion.
Which again, awesome.
Like, right? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, great. Oh, totally awesome. But that doesn't mean the religion made you join a more progressive sect. That was what you decided to do within your brain.
I'll give you this. I'll throw you one bone. Suppose that there's a person who started, they're an evangelical, MAGA, whatever, and they marry a person who's like a progressive Christian. And because of that marriage, they convert to this church. And then as part of being that church, they're convinced to be more progressive. You might be able to squint at that and say the religion did it, but really it wasn't the religion. It's just the fact that they're around more progressive people, and that's just culture. So even in that example, I don't see that it's the religion doing it so much as just like getting better friends.
Yeah, being a part of a more progressive society. Yes, and so is progressiveness.
Religion is part of culture.
Yes, and so is progressiveness, and there's no bridge between the two that you can make a correlation to, or you can make a causality to.
Yeah, totally. Religious tradition is part of culture to greater or lesser extents, sure. But again, that doesn't, like Kelley said, that doesn't mean that the religion is causing this progressiveness.
Liberalism and conservatism are both parts of culture too, and neither one of them have anything to do with religion.
Right.
In the United States, the religious right have co-opted conservatism.
There's plenty of conservative atheists.
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. I've met a lot of conservative libertarian atheists.
Yeah. I guess my final point, in Matthew 25, Jesus gives a very progressive parable of the sheep and the goats. And he advocates for social justice. And so the progressivism started, not started, but is inherently building upon the foundations that religion gave it.
You know what? I'm going to go farther. I'm going to go even farther back. There's this culture in central Turkey called the Tas Tepeler culture, right? And there was a whole vast amount of people who were just wandering around picking up food. They were living a nomadic lifestyle. And a bunch of these people wanted to make a progressive move to come together and work together and make a more progressive society as a group, as a large group. And they built the first cities ever that we know of on earth that had nothing to do with Christianity or Jesus. It had nothing, as far as we know, it had nothing to do with religion. It had more to do with survival. They banded together to make a more progressive society to better survive their environment. So I don't, like I say, I don't know why you keep thinking progressiveness is inherent on religion. Has some religions advanced progressiveness? Sure, but not all of them have. Only a small handful that I know of have. But progressiveness has not been driven by religion in any way, shape, or form. You can't say that progressiveness was caused. You might say it was driven by, but you can't say it was completely caused by religion. That's the point I'm making.
There were progressive Christians and there were conservative Christians. There were Christians who were abolitionists. There were Christians who were pro-slavery. There have been Christians who are pro-democracy, Christians who are pro-monarchy. So progressiveness has been driven by progressive people. Some of those people were religious, but I would contend that absent the religion, if you took away the religion but kept the same ideas, like the progressive values, I don't think you need to change anything else.
Andrew, we're like at the end of the show, so I want to give you the last word. What do you have to say?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Because it drove us so much throughout our history to help us progress as a society, as human beings. That it's integral to us within our chemistry. So that's all I would like. That's my last point, I guess.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling, Andrew. Feel free to call back again. We have other hosts that come on. Everybody has different points of view. You might want to talk to one of the other hosts. So please feel free to call back.
Yeah.
And I want you to have a wonderful night too. So goodbye, Andrew.